Hello everyone, my name is Jay Kishore. I'm a Dynamics 365 consultant, business analyst, project manager, delivery manager, pre-sales consultant. And to know more about my experience, my content creation work, my book, etc., you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Okay. Today, the key purpose of this particular video is to showcase Dynamics 365 project operations. Okay, this could be a little long video, but I have divided this video into 3 chapters. Okay, this will help any newcomers or any person who wants to understand the capabilities of Dynamics 365 project operations, and if he or she wants to try that particular product for some time, then this video is for them. In the chapter 1, I will be teaching you how to create a Dynamics 365 project operations trial environment, and in chapter 2 I will be teaching you how to set up a Dynamics 365 project operations, and in the chapter 3 I will be demoing overall capabilities of Dynamics 365 project operations, that is from lead to invoice. So I hope this video will be useful and a value for everyone who wants to get into Dynamics 365 project operations. Let's dive in. So let's spin a trial of Microsoft Dynamics 365 project operations. Head on to this website, microsoft.com, Dynamics 365 free trial. And here you can spin many of the Dynamics 365 applications, but today we are spinning a trial of Microsoft Dynamics 365 project operations. Hit the button try for free. It will open up a new page here, and it will ask for your school email address, work email address, or your basically Microsoft 365 account. If you have, which you can use here to spin a trial, Microsoft 365 account you can use, or else you can create a new Microsoft 365 account through this step. So just give your personal email ID here, and it will detect whether you have a Microsoft 365 account associated with that email ID. Okay, so I'm just giving a random email ID, so it will detect. So it will say that now looks like you need to create a new account, so let's get you started. Okay, so now you have to head on to set up an account, click the button and give your name. So give your name Jay Kishore and last name Bayadi, okay, and job title, okay, consultant, your business phone number. So here you need to give your a real business phone number, and you know, because they will send you an OTP to verify your details. Okay, so I'm giving that, and your company name, company size, and let it be the country or region as United States. Click this and hit next. Area code you have to put, so 91. Okay, so it will ask you, see, text me or call me. So here in the country code you need to select India if you are in India, and if you are in any other country you have to select your respective country codes. So let me select India. Okay, and send verification code. I received the code on my mobile, which is so you have verified. So now this is your kind of a Microsoft 365 account. Jaykishore Bayadi at xyzenterprises dot on microsoft.com. Just save it and set a password for it. Yeah, so it will say the login details will be sent to your official email ID, and this is your Microsoft account. Okay, so now you have to keep this somewhere, and now start using Dynamics 365 project operations preview trial. So you will be redirected to Power Platform Admin Center. So you just have to click all. So we need the project management for task and resource planning. Time and expense, yes, we need, right? So for deal management, yes. Task and resource planning, yes. Time and expense, yes. Accounting and advanced expense, yes. Non-stock material support, you can click as yes or no. I'll click yes. Stock material support, yes, and select project operations. Okay, so here see the Dynamics 365 project operations has 3 scenarios of deployment. That is your project operations for resource non-stocked scenarios, so and light deployment, and project operations for stocked and production order scenarios. Okay, so light deployment is a scenario where you will use your Dataverse database only, so there won't be any dual write setup. So that means your Microsoft Dynamics 365 project operations environment will be in CE environment. It will use Dataverse tables. And in project operations and project operations for resource non-stock scenarios and stocked production order scenarios, you will have an integration with your Microsoft Dynamics 365 ERP applications, which are your finance and supply chain management applications, through dual write, where your invoices and other activities will be created in such scenarios, and those data will be reflected back in your project operations application in CE environment. But I am going ahead with light deployment, where you can perform the activities from lead creation to until invoice creation. So you will create a lead to opportunity, and then your code to the customer, and you will create a contract, and from that contract, signed contract, you will create manage your projects, and you will submit your expenses, all those stuff, and finally bill the customer, send the invoice to the customer. So begin setup. This will take a couple of minutes while it provisions an environment for you. So in the Power Platform environment, it automatically created an environment. This is a default environment. We should not touch this default environment. And this is the subscription based trial environment. Now the status is in preparing. So ideally, you can create another environment. Okay, so this could be a development environment kind of a thing which you can use in future, but ideally you can use you can actually create another similar environment like this in this environment. Here is how we create a new environment for Dynamics 365 project operations. So this is the major step where you have to click this yes to enable Dynamics 365 applications, and you have to select which and all applications you want to deploy in your environment. If you select all enterprise applications, all your applications will be deployed, like sales, customer service, field service, etc. Now we are deploying project operations. We don't need project operations for stocked scenarios. Project operations for non-stocked scenarios we don't need, because it requires dual write with Dynamics 365 ERP applications, finance and operations. We are not going to do that activity now. We'll be selecting project operations, which is a light version of your Dynamics 365 project operations. Just select it and save it. And your environment will be created. So this is the URL you need to keep in handy along with your login details at Microsoft 365 email on Microsoft ID which you have created, plus the password which you have generated. So whenever you want to log into this environment, you need to log in with the Microsoft 365 account, that ID and password. So now these are the applications which are present in the Dynamics 365 environment which you have created. You can see the project operations. See, the project operations application is basically a combination of Microsoft project and earlier project service automation, which was the earlier version of the project operations app, and in advanced scenarios which we have discussed a few minutes back, that non-stocked scenarios, etc. In advanced scenarios, it will also integrate with your Dynamics 365 ERP applications for invoicing, advanced invoicing, and expense, all those activities. So I will click on this application and open project operation app. So this is our project operations app. So this is how you need to create a trial version of your project operations app. We are now in the second chapter where we will learn about setting up of Dynamics 365 project operations. Before we get into environment, let's go over few pointers which we will have to keep in mind. We discussed this topic a little bit in the beginning, in the first chapter. So here we discuss about Dynamics 365 PO deployment scenarios. So there are three scenarios. One is PO Lite, PO for resource non-stocked, and PO for production stocked scenarios. So basically, as you can read in the beginning, a project operations Dynamics 365 project operation is a application which combines the features of Dynamics 365 project service automation, which is the initial application for project management under the Dynamics 365 suite. Dynamics 365 PSA, you might have heard of that one. So basically the current Dynamics 365 PO brings together the capabilities from Dynamics 365 Project Service Automation, Microsoft Project for the web, and project accounting within Dynamics 365 Finance. So as we mentioned, there are three scenarios in the PO Lite. In the PO Lite, the entire flow between lead to Proforma Invoice will be covered within Dynamics 365 CE environment. That means the database used will be only the Dataverse. Okay, so for small companies, SMBs, this might be sufficient. Okay, those who don't have Dynamics 365 ERP application and they want to manage only a lighter version of their projects, etc., and their project is not so complex, in such scenarios the PO Lite will be more applicable. The second and third are the versions where invoicing and expensing are done in Dynamics 365 ERP applications. That is either in Dynamics 365 Finance or SCM, Supply Chain Management. Okay, so this Dynamics 365 PO environment, light environment, needs to be integrated with the Dynamics 365 ERP applications via dual write integration, which is an out-of-the-box integration capability offered by Microsoft to integrate their Dynamics 365 CE applications with Dynamics 365 ERP applications. See, the fundamental here is that all these CE applications, I mean the customer engagement applications, are based on Power Platform, and Power Platform is the default database for Power Platform is your Dataverse. Okay, so but your Dynamics 365 ERP applications, whether it is finance applications, supply chain management applications, or any commerce applications, they are not on the Dataverse as of now. But there is a common data service, common data structure is present. So the mapping of details between these two applications are easy, because the way the data the entities and the data model are structured are same. It is what common data model which is offered by the Microsoft. So because of this, right, so when you want to connect any CRM applications, CRM or CE applications with Dynamics 365 ERP applications, you need to connect them through dual write integrations, where the data from CRM can come to ERP, and the required data from ERP can come to CRM. Okay, so that is why Microsoft has come up with that dual write integration. In future, this situation may change, because eventually what Microsoft will do is they will bring Dynamics 365 ERP applications also into a Dataverse environment. It will take a couple of years for them to arrive at this situation, but till then we may have to use this dual write. So eventually this dual write concept will go off. So that is for the future. So that's about overall about PO deployment scenarios. So this is project operations environment, light environment. Okay, this is based on Power Platform. That is, it is using Dataverse as its database. So when you log in as a user, any user, you could be a project manager, or you could be a resource management person, or you could be a person who could be managing the entire projects or a project resource itself. So here we have by default the dashboard. So this is a practice management dashboard. As a practice manager, I want to see, let's say, what is the kind of revenue that is coming or expected, or what is the kind of cost, all those stuff. So this is the dashboard view, which you can create your own dashboards as per your needs. You can create the dashboards. There are various dashboards available by default, and whichever dashboard you want, you just select it, and you can make it as a default. Now, it is, I have to clear the default. Once I clear the default, you know there will be set as default will be visible. So if you want to make this dashboard as a default dashboard, you can just click it. It will become a default dashboard. So whenever you log in, that dashboard will appear for you. Okay, so that's about dashboard. So these are time entries. As a project manager, or as uh, uh, a resource, you book your time. So those time entry requests will be displayed here. Okay, so approved or rejected, whatever the time entries will be displayed here like that, based on the project, which project you are working on, etc. So these are expenses where you as a resource would have claimed some expenses or booked some expenses against some the purpose for a particular project. So this is similarly the material usage, and also these are some of the approvals. As a project manager, you will be approving such time or expenses, etc. So those times will be those records will be displayed here. So in the projects section, these are projects assigned to you, or you are working on. So where you will see the list of projects. Okay, anyways, we will we will go through the entire project, how it will look like, etc. in our in our after some time in the demo. So I'm not going to deep dive into projects as of now, but we will do it in our upcoming videos, or maybe after some time in this same video. This is a schedule board where, as a the resource manager, I can see who are available for a project allocation, and you can allocate projects to allocate resources to projects based on the resource requirement, etc. So this is resource utilization. This report, this page will reflect how many people are being utilized, who are booked, who are not booked, etc., and availability, etc. Okay, so you can see this if you assume these are the resources, then in June how much percentage of utilization they have done. The 5% of their time is being utilized, like that. So resources, these are actually the resources available in your company, for example, a developer, a BA, a consultant, etc. So contract workers. So basically, if your organization is working with the vendors to supply some the human resources to your company to work with your customers team, then those were actually those resources will be listed here. Roles, it's the kind of roles available in your company. Like, see, for example, in this scenario, imagine you are a company who will be deploying a IT product like Dynamics 365 or Dynamics 365 project operation to a customer. So as what, as a project, right? So you will need several roles in a project. So these are the list of roles, and when you have a resource, these are when you have a resource, you will tag these roles to those resources basically. So these are basically a generic resources. That means when you are estimating a project, okay, so which we will go through that estimation process and project management process in some time in this video, or maybe another video. So these are generic resources where you will load these resources when you are estimating the estimating for a project. Okay, and project reports, obviously the progress of the report, etc. So and then purchasing section, you have vendors, where you have to create vendors record, like the people who supply resources for your organization and for your projects. So once the vendor is created, vendor also can also be logged in as a user here, and they will be able to submit their invoices, etc. And also, if you don't want your vendors to be logged as a user in the Dynamics 365 project operation, then you can have a portal, Power Pages portal, and give them a required access so that they can do their activities like submitting vendor invoices, etc. So then you have this purchase price list. Purchase price lists are vendors, so that means vendors will have their own costs for their resources. For example, if they are supplying a business analyst, what is their cost rate? That means what is their rate? That means what is the hourly rate or a day rate they charge. Those details you can create it. So, and such purchase price list will be here, and this will have a relationship with vendors. So each vendor will be attached to a particular purchase list as given by them. So then subcontracts are the contracts. Basically, you will attach it to a project where subcontractors are required, and you will then only you will be able to submit your vendor invoices, etc. Contracted resources capacity. So it is part of capacity planning, where if you have some 10 resources of contractor resources, so you can manage the capacity available, and you can, based on available capacity, you can allocate them on your billable work. Materials on order, subcontract milestones. So basically this is the invoice milestone, and vendor invoices, where you have to where whatever the invoice you have created as part of your process, or the invoice milestones, all those invoices will be listed in this section. So that is so these are some of the sections within the project operations. So within other than this, there are several areas within Dynamics 365 project operations. So These sections are in projects area. Now if you come here, within the resources section you have these many uh, 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 these many tabs basically. So resources, we have already discussed that. um, uh, the these are the real people in your organization. Schedule board we have discussed. Which schedule board shows allocation of each and every resources within your organization. Utilization, how much, what is the kind of utilization uh, each resource has been made, etc. So requirements, this is the place where as a project manager you will get a resource requirement. Okay, so as a project manager I will raise a requirement for a resource, and as a resource manager you will get that request here, and you will actually start booking these basically start booking these resources and allocate those resources to the, or propose those resources to the projects. And these are bookings. Is the display of how many the resource bookings. Requests, expense requests, your resource requests, etc., where as a resource manager I will see that. So I will just mm, you know these are actually basically the resource requests which come to me as a resource manager, and I will approve that requests, and then I will schedule that request. So then from settings we have already I think we have discussed roles. It's the business analyst, developer, number of roles that are required for a project to be executed, right? And skills, what are the skills of each of this? So these skills are having relationship with the roles. So business analyst will have a skill of a business analysis, he may have a skill of Azure, he may have a skill of data analysis, etc., and those skills will be attached to these roles. So so what happens is that when you are as a resource manager, when you are allocating a resource to a project, uh, you should know whether you should if you want to see uh, uh, the skills of that particular resources quickly, then there will be a skill card available, a view card. I mean, the resource card will be available on the resource schedule board, and you can click that and you will see the skills possessed by this business analyst, and also the proficiency model, which is basically uh, their expertise level. So he could be a 5-star, or he could be very poor understanding in some technology areas, something like that. So that means if a business analyst is the skill level or expertise level is excellent for a business analyst, but his C sharp coding mm, uh, expertise would be beginner level, something like that. So those are the proficiency model attached. This also will be attached to a role, so against a skill. So that means if a business analyst has a skill of business analyst, and his expertise level would be, that is proficiency level would be excellent, something like that, or 5-star or 4-star or 3-star, something like that. So this way you will get a idea about a resource and his skill level, all those things, when you are assigning a resource to a project based on the requirement. And the priorities, basically your role priorities and the resource request priorities, etc. Requirement statuses, so basically what is this, whether it is fulfilled or not fulfilled, etc. Booking statuses, and finally the scheduling parameters is the place where you will be doing some of the the settings basically. So for example, geodata, uh, geodata of the resource, and schedule assistant, whether the radius unit is in miles or refresh interval seconds. I mean basically the settings of your schedule board, right? All those things will be done here. So now we have done with the resources. Now if you go into sales, see this is sales is basically coming from your Dynamics 365 sales applications. Okay, so you can create a leads here, you can create opportunities here, you can create quotes, etc. Okay, so but here is the place where you have customers, contacts, your products and price lists are actually created. Okay, so basically in project management or in the project operations, the flow is something like, you will create a lead, then opportunity will be, I mean that lead will be qualified into an opportunity, then you will create a quote and you will propose a quote with all the project plan, everything to a customer, and customer will accept that quote, and your project contract will be created, and then you will manage that project within the system only in the project management area, and finally you will complete that project, and you will finally send an invoice to the customer. So that's the high level flow of high level, the business process flow or high level flow within which is available within Dynamics 365 project operations. So coming back to the customers, contacts, products and price lists, so these are the key the entities that are required. So transactions here, approved time, approved expenses. Basically as a project manager or as a salesperson or whoever who has the capacity to approve and etc. So all those approved time, when an employee submits a time, his time, the time which he spent on the project, right? So that time will be approved by a project manager. So journals, actuals are actually when you submit a time which you have spent on the project, so that is the actual. So proposed is, let's say, I mean in if we propose a resource for 1 week, that means 40 hours, so and he booked for 25 hours, so the 25 hours are actual, the remaining hours will be actually proposed. So as and when he completes the other hours, he will book that as well, and then those hours are also will become actuals. And these are basically for billing, invoice related activities. This is called as a billing hub, where you will get retainer and advances. So you will be able to create a retainer schedule also for your customer. You will and you will get a you will be able to create a invoice schedule for your fixed price projects. So that means if you have $100K project, then you can create an invoice milestone for every month or every week or every 15 days, or whatever the frequency you need, and accordingly you can charge the customer or send the customer the invoice to the customer. So all those invoices will be available here. So as a person from a finance team, I will be able to see this. As a project manager, I will be able to see this. Then product billing, if you are selling a product as a part of your project, then you can create invoices and billing activities for those as well. Time and material billing backlog, where when the people book time and expenses, you will get a actuals booked, right? You will get the actuals in the time and material, and you can send an invoice to a customer by making those actual as ready for invoice, and invoice will be generated, and those invoice will be sent to the customer for customer. So invoices, so all the invoices which we have created as a project manager or as a finance person or whoever the role will be available here. And these are general setting areas where you will set up some of the things like parameters. So in the parameters you will you'll be able to sorry, I have to go to parameters first. So in the parameters you will be able to, let's say if I go here, see here we can control many things here. Basically in the feature control, if you see here, okay, it is not running. See, for example, if you want to enable or disable Copilot features, so you can do that here. And if you want to create price lists, etc., you can create here. And amount based, pricing dimensions, markup based, I mean all those things you can create here. So basically the basic setup that is required for you to set up this environment, you'll be able to do this. Okay, so these are organizational units. Organizational units are like so for example, if you have an organization and you have several units which actually deliver your projects. So let's say, I mean, if a customer wants a customer in the Europe wants to deploy your product in their region, so you can deploy some of the resources from your APAC or India region as an offshore resources, and a couple of resources you can deploy from the, let's say, from Europe delivery centers. So that way you can make that mix match of mix and match of those resources, so that you can control the resource cost as well. So all those so these are the organizational units which will have their own currencies and their own set of price lists. So that means if in a project, if you are deploying a resource from Europe, then the appropriate charges needs to be charged to the customer, right? So Europe, let's say for a business analyst from Europe may cost let's say $300 per hour, right? So similarly, and if you want to deploy a resource from APAC region or from India, a business analyst, same business analyst, not same, a business analyst from India may cost, let's say, $150 per hour, or maybe less, or maybe little more. Okay, something like that. So for each region these costs differ, and also in some regions some resources are not available, so that way you can deploy the resources. So basically organizational units are basically the are tied, they are more tied to the currency and the unique price lists they have. So that means, see, what is the difference between business units and organizational units? Business unit is a, let's say, in your organization, for example, Microsoft practice is a business unit, okay, where Microsoft practice is global. So if you have multiple delivery centers, so Microsoft practice is one business unit, and within that multiple business units you will have multiple within the Microsoft single business unit, okay, which is a global business unit. Every country where your organization present will have that Microsoft practice. But within that business unit you will have organizational units. For example, if your company has a presence in let's say in Germany and in India and in Singapore, right? So those are organizational units under the business unit. So that means a Microsoft practice in or Microsoft Delivery Center in Singapore, Microsoft Delivery Center in Germany, Microsoft Delivery Center in India, like that. So these delivery centers have their own rates, their own currencies, right? So that is how the organizational units are built. So then transaction categories, whenever there is a transaction you want to book in the project, maybe for a food and stay or logistics and travel, you can book them here. So expense categories, for example, these expense categories are related to this transaction categories. So these expense categories, for example, I want to book an expense for food breakfast, so that breakfast will be part of food and stay transaction category, like that. Okay, and invoice frequencies, this is where you will set up a invoice frequency for a particular customer. So that means you will do it in the project page or project area, but all those frequencies will be listed here as a list view. And recurring invoice setup, I mean, if you want to charge your customer on a recurring basis, you can set up those here. Calendar templates are important to set up. For example, you have a resource in Singapore and you want to and you have to create a calendar for him. So basically, where if I onboard a Singapore resource, he will be available from morning 8 o'clock to evening 5 o'clock Singapore time, and what are his non-available hours, what are his holidays, everything will be set up in that. And when you onboard a new resource in Singapore, you will just map that resource or tag that resource to that particular calendar template. I mean, that's it about overall project operation features. Okay, now let's understand how we can configure various elements within Dynamics 365 PO. We need to configure unit, currency, transaction and expense categories, and various other things which you can see in this slide within Dynamics 365 PO before we actually start using it. And while I am demoing it, I will explain what exactly they are. So let's begin. Let's see how we can configure units within Dynamics 365 PO. So we are here in the environment. You have to go to advanced settings here. So once we click that advanced settings button, we get this page. Here let's configure the units now. So let's go to product catalog and unit groups. You can see the unit groups configure already. Here are time and default unit. So basically in project operations, what happens is you either sell your time or your product, right? So that means when you are contracted for a project by your customer, how they will pay you the money. So it's based on the effort you spend, right? Effort means the time. So so we have to bill them. We spend some X hours of time on your project. So for this, this is the hourly rate and this is the cost you have to pay us. So to do that, to calculate that and to estimate all those things when we manage the project, etc., within project operations, we need to configure the basic units of time. So that means it could be an hour, it could be a day, etc. An hour is like 60 minutes, and in a day project resources work for 8 hours, so which is a day. So that's how you have to configure the time. So if I click the time here, so you can see the time unit is configured, and here you can see the units. Okay, so So this is the default unit. If you click on this, you can see hour. So quantity is 1 hour. 1 hour is the default unit. And now you configured the day. How you configured the day? So just go here. So the day will be 9 hours. Okay, I have configured it as 9 hours. Okay, it could be 8 hours, or in some cases 8.5 hours, or whatever it is. So this is how you have created the basic units here. Okay, now let's see how the currency can be set up within or configured within Dynamics 365 project operations. So here we are in the settings area, business management, and we have to click the business management and you will get currencies here. Okay, so I have already set up euro, rupee and US dollar as my currencies. If you want to set up a new currency here, just click on new and you can set up the currency here. So you can let's say if you want to select, let's say dinar, so just add that, and currency precision you can add 1 or 2. Precision in the sense let's say $83.24, or 83.24. the precision is 2, the decimals after point, something like that. Okay, and the currency name is dinar and currency symbol is DA, and you can write what is the 1 USD is equal to how much DSD. So that conversion rate you can mention it here and save and close. So that way you can create the currency here as much currency you require. Okay, that is about currency. Let's finish 2 things. It's completed. Now transaction and expense category. Okay, so we have I have already actually explained what are transaction categories and expense categories, right? So in settings area, you can see the transaction categories and expense categories. In this transaction categories, I have already configured 2 categories: food and stay, logistics and travel. See, in food and stay is it's just a category name. Okay, in future what will happen is, as a resource in the project, right, I go to a customer place, I raise a expense claim, okay, for against my expenses against that project. Okay, for example, I have I raised expense claim for my breakfast I had when I went to my customer's place. So that breakfast, which category is that? That breakfast is food category, and the hotel charges where you stayed, right? So that part of food and stay, it will come under this category. Similarly, lunch, dinner, okay, that will be part of food and stay. And you took a flight to fly to your customer location. So which category it will come to? It will come to logistics and travel category. So these are basically that expense categories. So when you want to bill expenses to your organization or expenses to your customers. Okay, so these are called as transaction categories. So now this is a further breakdown of transaction categories. Expense categories, where breakfast, dinner, flights, hotel, local trains, all those stuff. So so if you are claiming an expense for breakfast, then this breakfast will be part of which transaction category? That will be part of food and stay expense, food and stay transaction category. So that way these expense categories are actually having relationship with transaction categories. Okay, so if you see here, this category is breakfast, expense type is meal, you can select any other thing, meal. Okay, a transaction category is food and stay. So under food and stay you are marking as a breakfast and you are claiming that amount. See, for example, I went to my customer place and this day I had a breakfast for $20, $20, and when I claim that, it is a breakfast under the food and stay categories. So that way, you can manage your expenses, transactions, etc. So that is about transaction categories. You can create n number of such categories in the project operations. So this is done. So now roles, skills and proficiency model. So roles, skills and proficiency model. If you go to this resources area, you will come to a sub area as settings. Settings here, and you can see roles, skills and proficiency models. As we have explained earlier, roles are the roles available in your organization for delivering your project. Okay, so this differs from organization to organization. If you are an IT organization, these are the some of the example roles. If you are a construction company, roles could be different. Who could be an architect, who could be a construction engineer, who could be a laborer 1, laborer 2, or who could be a the concrete something like that. So that way, these are the roles which you can configure. You can just click new and you can create your roles and their target utilization and their skills, everything. Okay, so skills, whatever the skills that are being used by these roles can be listed here. Okay, so if yours is an organization, yours is an IT organization where you deliver IT projects, so you can create all the skills that are necessary for delivering your projects to your customers. So, and you can tag these skills to these roles or the resources to classify, okay, who to classify or to display, which resource is skilled in which skill and what is his proficiency model. Proficiency model is, as we discussed already, it's a rating mechanism. Basically, poor, fair, good, very good, etc. So basically, as a business analyst, if I am good at business analysis, my rating would be excellent. Excellent, right? So, and my coding or knowledge of C# coding could be good to fair or maybe poor. So something like that. So this will give a resource manager and project manager an idea about a resource when they allocate resources to the project. Okay, so that's about role, skills and proficiency models. Organizational units. Again, organizational units, we have discussed about the organizational units in detail in our overview section of this video. So basically, organizational units are the units having their own currency and their own price lists. Okay, now let's go to products and price lists. This is very, very important. So let's go to the price lists. Price lists, I guess, is available here. Okay, purchase price list is different. Sales, should be available in sales. For example, let me create a price list for you, then you will be able to understand. See here, let's say you have an organizational unit, APAC. Okay, so name is 2025 or 2024 APAC cost price. Okay, I will tell you what is the cost price and sales price. Okay, see here you can see the context is sales, and you also have a purchase as a context, and you also have a cost as a context. So what is this sales context? Sales context is uh, 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 sales context is this is the this is the sales price list. That means this is the rate, this is the hourly rate which you charge to your customer. Okay, for example, if I am a resource, uh, my organization will charge let's say $300 per hour for my time spent on their project. Okay, but what is the cost? What is the cost? Cost means how much is the the expense incurred by my organization to give me salary, and at what rate you know my organization gets my time for them. So that will be, let's say it will be $200. Okay, so the cost rate would be $200, okay, per hour. But my organization sells my time to their customers as for $300. So that way $100 of profit my organization is making by selling my time to the customers. That is the difference between sales price and cost price. So every organizational unit will have their own cost prices, okay, and every organizational units will have their own sales prices. So when you create a project, you have to attach a sales price and to a project, or a cost price to a project. So we will discuss those aspects during when we do those project configurations. Okay, so what is this purchase context? Purchases when you are getting the vendor the resources from a vendor. What is the price, at what price you are getting those resources. So that is the purchase price. It is kind of a cost to you only. It is similar to your cost price, but this is mentioned as a third the option list point here, because they are specific to vendor management scenarios. So that way, if I create, let's say sales price, okay, and you can, the effective start date could be today, and effective end date, if you want to put, maybe after 2 years, or you don't have to put the date at all, and just save, and that's it. Your price list is created. Now you have to further detail it out. So new role price. So for example, if you create a role price here, so here, see, for example, in this price list, in this 2024 APAC cost price list, for a business analyst role, which I am getting from, let's say, APAC resourcing unit, price would be the cost price which I am getting would be $200. That's US dollars per hour time, okay, in US dollars. Okay, so that's it. So save and close. That's it. So now this is the cost price. So for every cost price, you have to create a sales price as well. Like I have created, see here, new APAC cost price, new APAC sales price, new APAC cost price. If you go to APAC cost price, role prices are something like this: 100 business analyst costing 100, developer costing 200. Okay, these are cost prices. The cost at which my organization gets these resources. Okay, now if you go to sales price list and the role prices here, the same business analyst, my organization sells my business analyst time to their customer for $200. That means $100. That is the cost price and sales price. Okay, and products are the let's say here it is if you are selling a license, you are deploying, let's say, Dynamics 365 project operation to your customer, right? Or maybe you have your own product to deploy in. So you are selling the license fee to them as well, right? So those product license fee you can actually build here, and all your products you can list here. You can bundle it and you can add them in your project, and you can and sell them in a fixed price model or whatever model is suitable for your organization or for your customer organization. Okay, so that's about products. Basically, it's selling of products. You have, let's say, your customer wants a license, a product license of your product license for 100 of their people. I mean 100 people, and you are selling 100 product licenses. So license is a product. Okay. Similarly, in a normal retail organization, a TV is a product, something like that. Okay, it's a product for a particular price. You are selling it to your customers. So that is the product catalog, basically. Okay. So now the calendar templates, we have already discussed about this in this settings in the calendar template. Okay, so here APAC work template is there. So for example, what is the meaning of this? So here APAC work template, what is happening here is that you have a template resource attached to this. This template resource shows, okay, what is the time zone this guy is working, okay, and what is the kind of resource skill they have, and what is the kind of scheduling they have, which organize all this information, and also most importantly work hours, in which work hours they are working. So let's say working hours is this one, right? This is in we have seen that it is India time zone, and they are working from 6:30 a.m. onwards. So now with all this configuration, right? So with all this configuration, what you can do is when a resource is created, you can just attach this resources or tag this template to that resource, and automatically all these features which we have this in this template will be applied to that particular resource. That means that resource will be available in the schedule board as per this template time, their available time, their available hours, their working hours, their holidays, all the stuff. So you can create n number of such calendar template for different regions: Singapore template, APAC template, Europe template, Germany template, something like that. And whenever such resources are onboarded on those regions, appropriate work, these work hour templates can be attached to those resources. So that is the concept. Resources we have already discussed. These are the actual people who work on the uh, work on a project and maybe are part of our organization. So so there are there are several types of resources basically. Okay, one is let's say I will click on this APAC resource. Okay, so he is a generic resource. For example, let's say if I want to create a resource, he could be a user, he could be a contact, he could be an equipment, he could be an account, he could be crew, he could be facility or pool, whatever it is. Okay, so in our scenario where we deploy our product in customer's environment in IT scenario, so most probably the generic and the user could be the only two options is sufficient. So generic resources are resource. Basically, when you're proposing a customer about when you are doing a pre-sales activity, what will happen? You will tell in the proposal that we will deploy two business analysts with these skills for these many hours. That's it. You will not know whom you will deploy. You will just know that what are his skills, experience levels, and his availability, all those stuff. So that is a generic resource. That generic resource is a business analyst with the set of skills, availability, all this stuff. So when you get that project and when you actually start the project, you will deploy an actual business analyst to that position. So that is a user resource. So that user resource will have the whatever the said characteristics, his skills, the availability, all those stuff. So that is about resources, bookable resources, etc. Okay. So invoices, we have already discussed this as well. Where you will this Dynamics 365 project operations only allows Proforma up to Proforma invoicing. So that means you can just create an invoice and then send that invoice to your finance team, and then finance team will check and they can send it to the customers. Okay. So for example, if I see here invoice frequencies, right? Invoice frequencies, I can create bi-weekly, monthly, weekly, etc. So these are the the frequencies which you can create based on your organizational or customer requirements, and then you can create the invoice frequencies when you in the project. So we will discuss about that activity, generating invoice frequencies, etc. when you are managing the project or doing the pre-sales activity. So that we will see in the future sections of this video. So till then, you just have to understand that invoice frequencies are basically the number of times you send an invoice to your customers and they will pay the amount to you as per the submitted invoices. Okay, so that's about invoices and invoicing frequency. Parameter settings, we have already discussed about this, and customers and account and contacts, you already know about this, and we have already discussed as well in our previous section of this video. Now let's dive into the demo, but before we get into our environment, let's understand the agenda of this demo. I mean, what we cover as part of this demo. So this is the overall flow within Dynamics 365 project operations. For this demo, we will be using PO Lite, which is Dynamics 365 project operations based on Microsoft Power Platform. So what we will be doing, or what we will be able to understand, is that what capabilities PO Lite can offer at a high level. So we will create a lead first, and then qualify that lead into an opportunity. Then we will create quote, and we will also in parallel set up a project related to this quote, and then the project contract will be created. We will be covering only happy path scenario, where we assume that whatever the quote we send to the customer will be accepted by the customer. Okay, so once we create the project contract, whatever the project setup we have done, we will refine the project if required, and we will do resource allocation, resource scheduling, and also we will go to WBS assignment, time entry approvals, etc. See, as part of this project setup, right, we will be covering most part of the project planning, milestones, project estimates, WBS, time entry, etc. Okay, so once you win the project, a project manager takes over the project. He refines it further. He is actually start managing that project. So he approves the time entries, he approves the expenses, all those stuff, and he plans further. He breaks down the tasks further. All those stuff he does, and finally keep generating the invoice, and he sends the invoice to the customer. So along with that, we will also learn about Copilot features Dynamics 365 PO offers. So as you already know, during the sales stage, sales Copilot will comes into play, where you will get account summary, email drafting, and that chat experience with the Copilot to understand the opportunity and lead. In project operations, as of now, we will look into task planning, status report, and risk assessment. These are the three core Copilot feature that is currently available in Dynamics 365 PO. So this is the further breakdown of what you can expect in this demo. So as a first step, I will create a lead and qualify it into an opportunity. Then I will create a quote. Then I will create a project, then project contract. Then while creating that project, I will create tasks or WBS and generic resources. This helps in estimation. And once the contract is generated, or once the contract is signed by the customer, as part of project management, you will do resource allocation, resource booking, etc. And also we will cover subcontracting and vendor. I will cover overview only, so how to create a vendor, and how the subcontracts are created, etc. And then actual time and expense booking, and finally the Proforma invoicing. And in between, I will also showcase several Copilot features. If there are any left out features of Copilot which I was not able to demo at that point in time, I will take up those features in the end. The scenario which we will be showcasing today. So this would be the scenario. Here, imagine you are a product company. Okay, let's say a product like Dynamics 365 project operations. The scenario here is a product company proposing a project involving fixed price and T&M components to roll out their Prod 1 product in the customer's environment. And the project team will comprise of employee resources and contract resources. So now let's create a lead. Let's go to sales, and here you can see the leads tab, and you can create a click plus new, and here is our lead. So topic would be, let's say customer is Singapore Communications. Okay, it's a fictitious customer. So they want your prod one product to be implemented for them. Okay, so the lead topic is prod one project for Singapore. Okay, so this is not item based. We are not selling any physical product or a fixed product, online or offline or digital or a physical product. We are selling services, like it is a work based, so we will select work based. Name of the customer is, let's say, John Lee. Okay, he is a procurement head in that organization. Company name is Singapore Communications. Okay, I think this much detail is enough. Okay, so this is how you capture a lead typically, and now we need to qualify this lead. Okay, so if you see, once I save this lead, this lead is saved, and here in Copilot you can see it just gave a summary of this lead automatically when I click this Copilot here. So lead is about topic and has a rating of warm, and preferred method of contact for this lead is any created on this prod one project for Singapore Communication, etc. Okay, so now see, the thing is, in a company or a salesperson receives a lead and from someone, or maybe he will only, or he or she will only create the lead. Okay, so this AI helps him or her to understand quickly about this lead, what is this lead is all about. So here the data entered is very less. Okay, so AI will help when you have a lot of data. So in a typical practical scenario, people will enter more data, more insights about the lead, etc. They will enter. So AI will give more detailed summary as well. Okay, so as a lead, right, as you start pursuing that lead, you will have a lot of communication with your customers, etc. So you will also, let's say you write an email also to customer. Okay, you want to understand more about that particular customer, so you just create an activity here. Okay, and you just have to open the email, and here is the email. So here we can use the help of Copilot to draft an email. Okay, so describe what you need. So draft an email asking for a meeting and more details about the prod one project. Okay, so just generate. Yeah, it generated this email here. Okay, so you can just check this email, or you can edit this email, and you can keep it, and you can just send. Okay, so here I have not configured the email box, so it will not be sending. So I'll just okay, so that is how you can help you can get a help from Copilot in terms of getting the summary of a lead or opportunity, and it will help you to draft email responses, help you to set up calls with the customers if you have an integration with the Teams and also Outlook. I mean, once you buy the Copilot license, you will automatically get the the Copilot for Outlook and Teams, and also it will help you to write the I mean minutes of the meetings and meeting summary, etc. It will automatically provide it, especially the Teams Copilot for Teams. Okay, so that way Copilot will help you in managing leads, opportunities, etc. Okay, so now let's qualify this lead. Okay, this is not an existing contact. Purchase time frame would be next quarter or maybe this quarter. Estimated budget, let's say 25k. Okay, 25k, sorry, 250k. And purchase process, let's say maybe individual. Let's complete. Decision maker we have already identified because we know the John Lee, and summary is this one. This one, and let's say digital transformation. Okay, so next stage. Okay, so now it is saved. Okay, close. Now let's qualify this lead into an opportunity. I will click the button qualify. While it qualifies, it will a new record will be created as opportunity, and it will actually, while this qualification happening, the Dynamics CRM or Dynamics 365 will create a new customer record based on the information provided. See, okay, and also the contact record. Okay, so now this record is created. So if you click on this Singapore communication, this is the new account now, or new customer. Okay, so you can see the primary contact is listed as John Lee. So now this is the account, and this is the opportunity. Okay, during the opportunity stage also you will be interacting with customer a lot, right? You'll be interacting with the customer a lot. It is not so easy to close a deal, so a lot of back and forth discussions that will happen. So you know, even though customer has expressed interest very strongly that yes, we want to implement, we need a lot of details for the implementations, right? So you can create this new opportunity line here itself, to capture all those customer requirements and start estimating, etc. But we will start with the quote. Okay, so let's create a quote line for this particular opportunity. Okay, so as soon as I click new quote, it will create a quote record based on the information you have in the opportunity. Okay, so this is the new quote which we have created. So in this quote, you can see here there are no project price lists in this quote. At least one project price list must exist in the quote for a project for the pricing to work, right? So we need to include a project price list. We have discussed this when we were I was explaining about the cost price list and the project sales price list, right? So let me add a project price list for this, which is a sales price list. So you will get various sales price lists are here. So I will be using new APAC sales price list. Okay, description would be that the same thing, whatever the prod one project for Singapore Communications. Save and close. You have added the project price list now, and also here in summary they are asking for product price list as well. If you have a separate product price list, you can also add that, and here I'll be adding the same thing, new APAC sales price. Okay, so here I will be saving this. Okay, so right now this quote a quote is created. Now we need to create a quote line. Okay, so what are the services which we offer as part of our project, and what would be the cost for those? All those details will come in the quote line based on our estimation. So here let's add new quote line. Okay, so the scenario is that customer wants some portion of the project to be billed to them in a T&M mode and some portion of the project in a fixed price mode. So let's create two quote lines, one for T&M and one for fixed price. So now let's create a billing method would be as a time and material. Okay, time and material means you will be billing the customer for the time you spent, expense you made, and the material you have supplied, and there is no any additional fee which you will charge. So keep it as no. Okay, so let's save this now. Okay, so now see, the thing is, if you have a project already created, you can add them here. Okay, or you can create a new project record here itself, and it is highly advisable, and it's in my opinion it is must that we need to create a project at this stage, because in that project we will load the generic resources, we will add the expenses, everything, almost all details which are visible we can add in that particular project, and we can estimate it. So the cost will be estimated as part of code, and we can easily submit those information to the customer, saying that, see, this is how we deliver the project, this is what our plan, and this is our cost, etc. And when the contract is signed, then the project manager will take over that particular project, and he will further refine those projects as he starts managing that particular project. So that is how it is typically. So now let me create a new project. Okay, so here name of the project is Product Deployment, same thing here, this one, and I assign myself as a project manager here. Okay, let's say I will put APAC work template, and contracting unit will be APAC. Estimated start date, let's say it's not from next week. Okay, effort hours, all these details, if you have any information high level, you can put it, otherwise you can leave it, and save and close. So the project record is created. Okay, so as I said earlier, we have to further refine or further add details to this project so that we can estimate the costs and various other factors associated with the project, right? So let's click on this project, and let's go to project. Yeah, so now we are in the project. Okay, so here are the typical uh, areas or tabs which a project has connection to. So tasks, we will go one by one. Okay, when you click on tasks, the Microsoft project will open, and here is where you will actually load your team and estimate and plan your project. Okay, so now let's add some tasks to this project. Okay, so discovery and assessment backlog and planning. I mean, these are high level tasks. Okay, you can uh, create very low level tasks as well, like including user story also you can put here and assign those user story to a user, etc. You can do. Okay, so add a new task, dev sprints. Okay, and go live and warranty. Okay, so these are the 4 tasks, let's assume. Okay, so here uh, you can add columns as you need. Okay, I don't need this a quick look column here, so I will hide it. So now I need assign to column, I need a start date and finish date column, and I need a duration and effort, and also I need depends on column. If you want any column to be added, just click here and you can add let's say priority, right? You can add that priority as a column, and you can make those priorities as urgent or whatever it is. So, and also you can create a conditional coloring here. For example, if you see here a field, let's say priority field, if it is equal to, let's say, urgent, then make it display in red. Okay, so I can do that. So see, now it is displaying in red. So that way you can highlight each and every fields here based on the need. Okay, now let's estimate. Okay, so the, let's say, start date we selected was 16th, finish date was 1 day. So okay, so let's say requirement will take 10 days. Okay, let this will take 20 days. Okay, let dev sprints take 30 days, and go live and warranty would be 30 days. Okay, so you have it here. And also effort, let's say 80 hours here, 160 hours here, 240 hours, and here let's say here I put 30 days. Okay, I don't know why it is. Let's save this. 30 days. Okay, so here again 240 hours. Okay, I don't know what is okay, 240 hours. Okay, so here it and also add the dependency. So from here here to, let's say, backlog and go live. 3 is different. Okay, so you just save it. So you have now all your dependency, everything added. And also this, let's say, let's add a generic resource from here. This 3 dots are there, right? You can just add a generic resource, discovery and assessment purpose, generic resource. Okay, so for a generic resource, maybe a BA. Okay, so the role would be, let's say, business analyst from APAC. Okay, so here you can see subcontract. So this will be used when you are if you are leveraging subcontracts. Okay, so right now I have not created any subcontract, which I will be creating in some time, and I will explain how subcontracting resources can be allocated to a team. Okay, so right now let's keep it blank, and worker type would be employee only. Okay, if you are assigning a contract worker, it will be contract worker here. Okay, so I will go with the employee now, BA. Okay, so he is a generic resource. Okay, we don't know, because we don't know whom we are going to allocate to this particular project. So here as well, for backlog planning, etc., add a generic resource. We will need a product consultant. That is product consultant here. Okay, let me write that way. Consultant, and save and close. Okay, and for development activities, let's say add a developer. Okay, so you can, I will add a product consultant only. Basically, let me say add lead developer. Okay, lead developer. And here go live and warranty, again I will add a generic resource as product consultant. That is product consultant, 7 close. So I have added now these generic resources. Okay, so now 20 days is the effort, and priority also we have added, and let's save. Okay, now you can see the estimated labor cost got updated as 108K. How this got updated? See, number of hours you have put here, I mean the effort. This now uses, as soon as you save, this now uses the price list which you have attached to that code, right? APAC price list you have attached. So there in that price list you have mentioned the rates for each of those resources, which we have already discussed about, right? Those rates, and it will get multiplied, and this amount is reflecting. This is estimated labor cost for this T&M deal. Okay, so if you go here, this is the team where generic resources we have allocated. Okay, this is the team, and here the resource assignments. See, the thing is, yeah, BA got assigned with the discovery and assessment task role, and he will start from this date to this date, and his quantity is 80. Okay, and how his time is distributed? So 40 hours. So starting from the this date to this date, he will be like the 2 weeks of work which he will be doing. So the resource assignment, resource reconciliation will be part of your project management. So that means, see, allocated, let's say for a business analyst, if the allocated time is 80 hours, right? So the actual time also should be 80 hours. It should not be more or it should not be less. So that reconciliation activities will be or reconciliation details will be displayed here. If it is a booking shortage, it will look like this, or excess booking, it will look like this. So this will happen once you once the resource will book his time, right? If he books over time, yes, I mean this will reflect here. And these are estimates, all automatically came here. Okay, so see, this is cost, so basically calculating from your cost price list. This is the cost to the total cost price is this much. Okay, total cost price I'm saying. Okay, and the price, sales price would be this much. So we will be charging 224 to the customer, right? So that this is the tracking, where where you can track once resources start booking their time, right? You can track these efforts, how much effort, how much hours are allocated, and how much efforts are pending, etc., how much hours are complete, all those stuff. So sales tab is it's basically the associated quote will be displayed here. Okay, and task billing setup, I will come back to this task billing setup in a while. Okay, expense estimates, if you have any expense estimates, okay, like flights, let's say there should be some $10,000 of flight cost needs to be reserved, then you can create those details here. Okay, so that's it. So actuals will be I will show the actuals when the resources books the actual time spent. Let's save this, and okay, your project start date has been updated, and refresh to update this and update the end date. Okay, so let's see finish date estimates. Okay, this is the project record which we have just created. Okay, so now let's go to sales and open this quote. See, you remember from quote we have created that project, and we clicked that project, and we created that we enhanced or nurtured that project here. And now from projects tab, sales tab, we are going back to that original quote which we have created. So let's click on the associated quote for that particular project. Okay, so we will just click on this quote. See, this is one of the quote line for the main quote. Okay, so this is the project, and this is the original main quote, and this quote whatever you are seeing right now is the quote line for this quote. So let's go to the main quote here. Okay, and if you see, these are the quote line, this is the quote line. Okay, so now this is for time and material. As I mentioned earlier, customer wants a project to be delivered, some portion, some tasks of a project to be delivered in T&M mode, and some part of the tasks to be delivered in fixed mode. So how to do that? So you have the time and material quote line created already. Now let's create a fixed price quote line. So add a new quote line. Okay, so product type is yeah, prod 1 project for Singapore line, and billing method would be fixed price, and project you attach this same project, prod 1 project for Singapore communication. Okay, now include the tasks here. selected tasks, project tasks only. So you will, for the fixed price, what you will not consider these, right? So no, 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 only fee. So that means I mean, you will charge based on your estimation. You will charge, let's say, 100K to the customer. So only that fee you will be charging to the customer. That is a fixed price. Okay. So you just save this. Okay. Here for this you can add again quote line details. Okay. So what is that? Those things which makes you that the fixed price. So those details you can add here, but for the in the interest of time, I am not going to do that, and I am just going to add, let's say, 100K here. Okay, this is the quoted amount. Okay, so when you do that quote line, add those quote lines, right? I mean, all those estimated cost will automatically will come here, but at this stage I'm not going to do that quote line, adding quote lines. So I manually put the 100K, which is the fixed price for the customer. Okay, now let me save and close. So now you have two quote lines created here. So now we need to differentiate which task needs to be fixed price and which task needs to be time and material, right? For that, what we have to do is associate these quote lines to the tasks, to the project tasks, right? So this is a fixed price quote which we have a quote line basically created just now, we have created, right? So let me go and rename that thing. See, it is, let's say, fixed price. Okay. Yeah, this error, don't worry about it, we will come back to this. Okay, so save and close. Now save and close. And time and material, let's click on that. So let's name this as T&M T&M prod 1, something like that. Okay, save and close. I just renamed it because when we associate the quote line to a particular task, right, we should be able to differentiate that. So now what we have to do is click any one of this and go to this project. Okay, now in the project you can see task billing setup. Okay, and you can see task associations, right? All the tasks which we have added in the project are are actually available here. Just click on this, add a quote line. See here, see fixed price and T&M I just renamed, right? So those two quote lines are coming here. So I want to associate T&M quote line to this task. Okay. And I will also want to associate backlog and planning also in T&M. Okay, and dev sprints also in T&M. And go live and warranty I will charge the customer as a fixed price. Okay, so this way I have associated my project tasks with the T&M and fixed price. That way, we know which tasks are T&M, which tasks are fixed price, and accordingly we can generate the invoice. We forgot one thing here. So within this time and material, right, in this time and material quote, see in the fixed price quote line we have added this quoted amount as 100K manually. Okay, but in the time and material case we have actually added the resources in the project, and their price list, everything we have already added, right? So we can actually bring those lines here, okay, from the project. See here you can just import the quote line details from the project estimate. You can just click this and click OK. You can see discovery, backlog and dev sprints, which we marked them as T&M quote lines, right? We associated the T&M quote line with those tasks. So these are actually coming here, and it is calculating the amount here. So okay, so we have from T&M now 164K is the total cost of T&M quote line, and we know 100K as the fixed price quote line. So it is already calculated. So customer has to pay 164K for T&M estimated amount and 100K as the fixed price. So if you go to now, this is the quote lines and this is the main quote. See here the total amount is updated as 264. See in the lead stage we have updated the budget as 250K. So and now this is little over budget. So this is where the negotiations will happen. So how you can negotiate? Let's go to a project here, and not here, in the project. Let's go to the project record. Okay, in the project record. So here let's go to main quote. Okay, here we have a project price list, right? See, this is the default, this is the new APAC sales price list which we have added. So now we cannot change the, if customer is asking for a negotiation, because your costs are high like that, because it is already reflecting 264, but my budget is only 250K. So I want some discount. I have only that much budget, the customer says. So now you have to actually negotiate, right? You have to reduce the price, but this is your sales price which you cannot edit here. So if you want to do that, I'm not going to demo this here. This would be an exercise for you. Okay, so you just see how it works. Okay, so I'm just showing you how you can actually have a custom price for a customer. So you can just click this button here, create custom pricing. So what that will do is the plugin or the workflow behind the this app will actually copy this original sales price and it will create a separate specific custom pricing sales price for this particular quote only. Okay, where you can go and change your resource prices, list prices, or whatever it is, to make that budget within 250K. Okay, so that is how you can create the custom pricing for your customers. I just wanted to show that. Okay, so now let's go to quote again. Our quote here, this one for Singapore Communication 264. Okay, so 264. Here you can see summary of the quote. So basically in this quote analysis, summary and comparison, right? When you have a customer budget allocated, it will compare it with the customer budget, and it will show the whether it is over budget or high, and within the customer budget. And also quote analysis summary, and will give you whether your costing is profitable or not. Okay, so that is stuff. Okay, so now we have created the quote. I think the quote is all done. So we have 264 as budget amount, and we will now activate the quote. Once the quote is activated, you cannot edit the quote. So once the quote is activated means there won't be any edits, and we will send this quote to the customer. Okay, now send this code to the customer, and customer said, let's assume that customer said, okay, we are okay to give 264K to you, and let's keep this, let's make this quote as 1. So are you sure you want to close? Yes. Okay. So what will happen is when you close the quote as 1, the contract will be automatically created. So a new contract record will be created. Okay, so that means from the quote it will copy all the details, and your order or contracts under project contracts, everything will be created. Now you can actually send this contract to the customer, and customer has to sign the contract before you begin your project. So once the customer is signed the contract, you can confirm the contract. So we will confirm the contract, so assuming customer has accepted. So now the status is active. Okay, now what will happen is, in real life scenario, project manager will take over this particular project because you have won the project now. So now it's your duty to deliver that project to your customer, that implementation of prod 1 software to the customer, right? So you will project manager will take up the project, and project manager will further nurture the project. He will add the resources, all those stuff he will do, and he will deliver the project. So let's we have already seen the setup of the project and all other tabs. So let me quickly give you some of the key tasks which a project manager will be doing. So before that, let's go back to our PPT once. See here, so far what we have done. So far we have created a lead, we have created a project and contract now, tasks, generic resources we have added. Okay, this much tasks are completed now. So now we will go with the how a resource can be allocated against a generic resource, and subcontracting activities, and booking, time booking and expense booking, and invoicing, and remaining Copilot features we will be discussing. Okay, so here now the contract is ready. Now let us go to the projects. Okay, so here you have this project, Singapore communication. Here just click on this project, right? So you have all those things. Okay, now let's as part of our thing, so resource allocation and booking. So let's complete this now. Okay, so let's go to team. Okay, let's go to team. Here let's say we need a business analyst. Okay, if you just click on this, just click on this. This is a generic resource which we have assigned because we didn't know whom we have to assign. So even now, project manager, as a project manager, I don't know who are available in my organization. So what I will do, I will just generate a requirement here. Once I click this, a generate requirement button will appear here. So I will just click that button. Yeah, so now the requirement has been generated. Okay, so now as a resource manager, I will log in to this tool, this project operations tool, and I can see requirements maybe here. Yeah, so see, there is a requirement for one resource requirement for business analyst. Okay, so I will just open this. I'll just see. Okay, from 17th to 28th this resource is required. You can increase the timeline as well. Okay, or project management can be. So by default 3.3 days of allocation was requested by the project manager as of now. So what you can do is go to the requirements, just select this requirement. Now just click here, book. It will open the schedule board. Okay, so you need to sometimes it will show the resources are not available at that point in time. What you have to do is some filtering conditions by default it has provided. You need to remove this. See, you just remove this and search again. Let it show the resources. Okay, let's wait. So we have Jonathan BA available. Okay, and Thando also available, and let's say go to Gantt chart. Here, see, you can, it's a much beautiful chart. See here, I will book 8 hour available for 17th to for these dates. So I will book Jonathan BA from 17th to 29. Okay, 3.3 days. See, there are types of booking: hard booking, soft booking, proposed. See, I mean, you're just reserving the resources by using these two options. Okay, anyone can override this proposed or soft booking. Hard booking is like you are booking right now, so that means your project will be charged. So I will book and exit hard booking. Okay, so now let's go back to our projects. Click on this. If you go to team here, see, now Jonathan, the real person, BA, has been assigned from 17th to 28th. Right, so he has been assigned. So similarly, you can do the resource allocation for the other resources. This is how you can do that. Okay, so now I will quickly touch upon this subcontracting and vendor. Okay, so as you can see here, let's say in settings or in resources, sorry, in projects only, vendors. Okay, See, if you click on this vendors, this is the place where you have to create the vendors record. Okay, so I have already created a vendor record here, eTeam IT. Okay, so they are the it's basically a account record or a customer record where the type of the account is vendor. Okay, so relationship type is vendor. You have other suppliers, influencer, partner, prospects, your customer, everything is there, but here the type of the relationship is vendor. Okay, and they will supply their own vendor price list. Okay, so that needs to be attached to this particular account or this particular vendor. That's it. And whatever the details that is required, you can update here. Okay, that way you can create a vendor. So now if you want to allocate a person or a resource or a team member from this vendors list, what you have to have is, first you should have a subcontract created. Okay, you have to create a subcontract, you know, the sorry, I came here, subcontracts created first. Okay, so you can, by clicking new, you can create a subcontract. I have old subcontract created. See, subcontract means you will associate that project with the subcontract. Okay, so this is the old project. Okay, for a company Z Factor, so I have associated that vendor for this particular project. Okay, and your requirements are also like what is your expectation, basically. See, you know what you need. See, and contracting unit, you know, all those details you can input here. So that way you can create a subcontract, and when you actually allocating the resource, right, you were allocating the resource against like this, against the generic resource, a team here, here when you are allocating a resource. Okay, you have to select the subcontract resources. That's it. Once you have the subcontract associated with the this particular project, you will get the you know, the resource details from the subcontractors, and you can add those resource, book those resource here. Okay, so that way you can create the you know, add the subcontractors also as part of your team. Okay, that completes the subcontractors. Now how project resources will book their actuals, basically the time they have spent, and also how they can book the expenses. Okay, now let's get into the environment. We are here in the projects area. Let's go to my work. As a resource, I will log into this portal or this application. See, here you can see time entries and expenses. Okay, so I will just go to time entries. Okay, so here you can create a new time entry. So create a new record here. So duration, maybe let's say 3 days. Type is work. Project, you can have multiple projects because a resource can be working in multiple projects. So prod 1 Singapore communication. And the project tasks, if you go to advanced lookup, you can actually fetch the tasks, but right now I'm not going to do this. This is not necessary. Role would be let's say business analyst. Okay, as a business analyst I am booking that 3 days of time. So that's it. Save. Can't exceed 24 hours. Okay, so that's some settings we need to do that. If we enable that, it will be allowing more than 24 hours. Okay, so there's nothing big in that. So 8 hours. Okay, I will go for 8 hours, so I'll just save and close. So you have 8 hours here. If you want to book for entire week, you can do here, here, and here, and also here, and also here. Okay, so now you can just select this record and submit. Okay, it is timesheet booking basically. Okay, so now it is submitted. Now project manager has to approve it. I will show how to do that as well, but before that, let's book an expense here. Let's book an expense. Okay, so this is my expenses. Let's say I transaction date, maybe let's say this date, project is this one, and project task, again if you go to advanced setup, you'll be able to flights. Okay, expense category, we discussed about this, flights, and if you're a subcontractor, you have to select that subcontract record which you have created, and unit and default unit and primary unit. So in that the expense price list, right? I mean, we have already defined that unit price would be 5,000. One flight will cost 5,000, and we will be quantity would be this much. So I would need, let's say, two-way would cost 2 flights, so I will write 2, so 10,000 would be my expense. So that way you can actually create that expense. One second, which one? Singapore Communications, this one, yes, this one. Now submit. As a resource, I have to submit this. Submit. Now as a project manager, I go log into the application and I go to the my approvals section. Here you can see my time and yeah, see here you can see I have booked this many time. Okay, so for 6 days I have booked, right? 8 8 8 8 I have booked. So I will just approve this. I will just approve this. System has processed. And also, if you want to approve the expenses, expense entries for approval, I have got this $10,000 of worth stuff, and approve this. Okay, so this is how time entry and expense entries are approved. So now let's create a invoice. I got it how it is done. So basically you have to go to actuals. So just now we have created actuals right here. This is the billable stuff. So go to actuals, here. Okay, so you can see so many line items created here, actual associated view. Okay, so 8,000, 800, 10,000, all those stuff. So many of them are cost, many of them are time, etc. You can select, or you can select any one, or maybe these two. Okay, and you can click them to make them as ready to invoice. Okay, so now those two items will be ready for invoicing. Okay, so ready for invoicing. Now let's go to project contracts, go to this project contract, our Singapore communications, and create invoice. So now we have made those two invoices as ready for invoicing, right? So ideally this should create invoice here. Sometimes a few error comes because of the some setup issues or some other issues. So if you it if that error comes, we will leave it at that. I mean, but this is how the invoice is actually created. So we will create an invoice, and again that error comes. So let's not worry about it. So this is how the process is basically. So you have to create the invoice something like this. Let me go to the other contracts where I have, let's say, this one. Okay, so this contract lines, let me go to here, let's say fixed one. Okay, this contract line, it will have some invoice schedule already created. See, these are the invoice schedule which you have which we have created for this particular project. So this is easy to create an invoice schedule. Let me explain that to you now by using a different project. See, here I have opened one quote line. Okay, so this is the fixed price quote line for this particular quote. Okay, soft 3 rollout for customer 1, something like this is one quote. Under that quote we have like same scenario we had, right? Fixed price and time and material quote lines we have created, all those stuff, same thing we have created here. So here if we go to the quote line, okay, what happens is that, see, you can see invoice schedule, and this is the sum of amount billing, so invoice schedule. So in the setup we have while doing the setup we have seen how this monthly or weekly invoices are generated, right? So that way you can actually invoice frequency you can create. So you can select any other. I have bi-weekly, weekly. Let me create weekly, and billing start date may be from 16th onwards, and generate periodic milestones. So okay, so it will generate a periodic milestones. Let's see. So it will created how many, so many invoice. Okay, now this is the milestone date, so automatically this will become ready for invoice at this date, and you can charge the customer. So same thing which we were trying to do in the time and material quote as well, where we select the actuals. Okay, we selected the actuals, right? And we made them ready for invoice, and then we went to project contracts, and we clicked the button create invoice, and for some reason which I'm yet to figure out, it is giving an error and it was not creating the invoice. But here I will show you what will happen in the invoice cycle. So now this invoice schedule is created, right? So what I will do is I will just make this quote as one quickly. Okay, activate the quote. It will take a couple of minutes. Activate quote. I will create the closest quote at close as one. That will create a contract for this. Okay, we have a invoice schedule already created there. Invoice schedule already created there, and we will go to, in the project contract we have this project. and contract lines. In the contract lines, if you go here, we should get invoice schedule here. Okay, which we have already. See, now the invoice status is not ready for invoicing, right? We can make them ready to invoice forcefully or automatically. We can it will become ready to invoice when this date arrives. So same thing will happen in similar thing, which as I have explained earlier in the T&M as well, where we were trying to make those invoices as ready for invoice based on the actuals booked, but because of some error we were not able to create the invoice. Now I will make this ready for invoice. Okay, ready for invoicing, and go to the project contracts, and which one? This contract. Okay, this contract is not confirmed yet. Okay, let me confirm this. Okay, now let's say create invoice. There was one ready for invoice detail, invoice was there, right? So it is creating the invoice because there is one ready for invoices available. So this is how invoice life cycle comes. So this is the invoice. Now I am billing the customer for 10,000, this 10,000 total amount. So this is the draft, and here the next stage. Okay, so 10,000 next stage and finish. So now this invoice actually will be sent to financial team, and financial team will verify they will review it. It was draft in the earlier. They will review it and they will send it to the customer. Once customer has paid, once the invoice is ready to be sent to customer, you can just confirm the invoice. Okay, once customer, but if customer has any issues with the invoice, you can revise the invoice. Okay, or if customer has accepted and paid the invoice, you can mark the invoice as paid. That's it. That is the end of invoice lifecycle. So we have completed the Proforma invoicing as well. So from lead to Proforma invoice. So now the last one, most importantly, I have already shown you the sales Copilot features there. So now let's go to some of the Copilot specific Copilot project Dynamics 365 project operation specific Copilot features. Let's open any of our projects. Let's say Singapore communication. Okay, so here if you go to this project, you see Copilot here, right? You have 3 Copilot features here. So what does this do? Task plan. If you go to tasks, okay, so you don't have to manually create these tasks now or anymore. Okay, you can leverage. See, I have created manually discovery, backlog, dev sprints, etc. Right? But you can use Copilot to create tasks. You just click on this. It will collect the data entered in the the project, and accordingly it will create the tasks here. And you can use those tasks or edit those tasks, and you can move forward. So let's see how it provides the task lists. See, it created task list. These are my tasks. See here, it created project initiation, gather requirements, define project scope, identify stakeholders, all those stuff. So, and it also gives some the dates, etc. So you can refine it or you can use it as it is. So that is how it is. And you can also create a status report quickly. There are two types of status report, internal and external. So let's external is the status report where you send that report to the customer. So every week or every 15 days when you want to send the report to the customer, right, you can use this data to the, so overall the project status is green, on budget, this is the budget spent so far. Okay, so 14,800 was booked, you remember. So these tasks were not started. So as we have more detail, if we have more details everywhere, right, I mean it will give you more rich features or summary. This is how. Similarly for internal, you can create a report. Now risk assessments. Risk assessments based on the data available or entered in the project, it will provide some anticipated risks. See, resource shortage, scope creep, technology compatibility issues, vendor performance, etc. So you can use this or you can add your own or you can edit this. So that's about Copilot in Dynamics 365 project operations. So I think that's it from the project operations. So we have seen almost all the features that is offered by the project operations. If you understood this concepts within project operations, you'll be good to use this project operations. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching.